Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys won't have to face key Broncos defender after NFL decision. The white-hot Dallas Cowboys offense will have a huge opportunity to exploit the Denver Broncos on Sunday, particularly since they will not have one of their most important defensive players. Broncos linebacker Dre Greenlaw's one-game suspension was upheld on appeal, meaning he will miss the Dallas game after he chased down official Brad Allen and verbally threatened him after their game against the New York Giants. Sunday was Greenlaw's first game in a Broncos uniform after he signed a huge 3-year contract with them in March after spending his first 6 seasons with the San Francisco 49ers. Greenlaw had 6 tackles and 1 solo tackle for Denver in its 33-32 win Sunday. He was forced to miss their first 6 games after sustaining a quad injury in training camp and was banned for abuse of an official after Will Lutz's last-second field goal. The Cowboys have not had trouble running the ball against any team, since Javonte Williams ranked second in the NFL in rushing yards, 592, helping them accrue 122.1 yards on the ground per game. The Broncos have been accustomed to playing without Greenlaw, but the inside linebacker has been one of the game's premier run stuffers. He has regularly appeared with Pro Football Focus grades of 80.0+, even though he has only played 3 games over the past 2 seasons after tearing his Achilles tendon in Super Bowl 58. The Giants gashed Denver through the air with Jackson Dart's arm. But despite putting up 119 yards on the ground, New York averaged just 3.7 yards per carry, led by Kemskatebo's 60 rushing yards. The Broncos are averaging 3.8 yards per carry and 93.3 yards against per game on the ground. Williams has surpassed that mark by himself 3 times this year, and it's easy to see him doing so again Sunday. With CeeDee Lamb's return in Week 7, the Cowboys showed how their high-octane offense can work by putting up 409 yards of offense and 44 points. Granted, the Broncos have arguably the top cornerback in the NFL in Patrick Surtain too, who could keep deep threat George Pickens in check. But the Giants exploited the Broncos in the intermediate passing game with tight ends Daniel Bellinger and Theo Johnson each recording long touchdown catches. The Cowboys, of course, love using tight end Jake Ferguson, since he ranks 5th among NFL tight ends in yards, 334, and is tied for 2nd in the NFL with 6 touchdown catches. But Lamb could be the beneficiary of an open middle of the field, since he has long been the possession receiver, even though he, of course, has the speed to turn those deep crossing routes into huge plays and even touchdowns. If, without Greenlaw, the Broncos are unable to slow Dallas' running attack, that could open the door even further for a huge intermediate passing game. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott is one of the best at using play-action passing to find the likes of Ferguson and Lamb in stride so they can run after the catch. Cowboys open windows for Cooper Beebe, DeMarvion Overshown, Siobhan Revel Jr. On Wednesday, the Cowboys officially opened the 21-day return-to-practice windows for center Cooper Beebe, linebacker DeMarvion Overshown, and rookie cornerback Siobhan Revel Jr. Now, Wednesday's practice serves as their first opportunity to rejoin their teammates in individual and team drills, although they'll likely be limited to start out. The 21-day windows for each player will close on November 12, the final decision point where the Cowboys will either need to activate them to the 53-man roster or place them on season-ending injured reserve. Beebe has missed the last 5 games for the Cowboys with a foot injury. Now, the offensive line will be at full strength on the practice field, although it may take a little time for that to be the case on Sundays again. On the defensive side of the ball, it's been a long and tough road for DeMarvion Overshown to get to this point. After his 2nd major knee injury in as many years, the Cowboys' first ever player to wear the number 0 now gets to ramp up towards full speed again. That speed is what can change games for the Cowboys' defense, an aspect that Dallas is very much looking forward to adding to their arsenal shortly. The added help that's on the way as well is rookie Siobhan Revel, who the Cowboys selected in the 3rd round of the 2025 NFL Draft out of East Carolina. After being placed on the non-football injury list to start the year, Revel will get his first opportunities to experience NFL action in practice, where Schottenheimer said he'd start more with the scout team as he ramps up. Dallas on hunt for impact defensive player, checked on Trey Hendrickson. The Dallas Cowboys are reportedly looking to add defensive help before this season's NFL trade deadline. During a dump of buzzworthy notes, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler specifically said that the Cowboys are on the hunt for an impact defensive player. A reminder that the trade deadline is November 4th. My understanding of the situation is the Cowboys are on the hunt for an impact defensive player and have reached out to teams throughout the league, likely all of them, to gauge interest with a number of players, Crosby presumably being one. So yes, I think there's interest. My sense is that Dallas would be pretty surprised if the Raiders actually moved on from Crosby, with whom owner Mark Davis has a deep affection. The Cowboys, armed with 2 first-rounders in 2026 and 7 picks in total before compensatory selections, also have looked into Bengals edge rusher Trey Hendrickson, whom the Bengals don't plan to deal. Several other edge rushers will be available league-wide, so expect the Cowboys to get involved in various talks. They have shown an eagerness to trade for players on rookie deals, which worked out great with Pickens, who is having a contract year for the ages. Pickens is pulling off quite the upset after the Steelers moved on. Pickens never had stable quarterback play in Pittsburgh, but he does now. The Cowboys have noticed that Pickens and Lamb have good chemistry as bookend receivers. And one person with the team compared him to Dez Bryant, incredibly talented and sometimes a distraction, but ultimately manageable. For Pickens, that's good company. Bryant made 3 Pro Bowls in 8 seasons with Dallas. Fowler's notes here began after referencing the Tuesday report that Dallas called the Las Vegas Raiders about Max Crosby. This is the first time that anyone has directly connected the Cowboys to Cincinnati's Trey Hendrickson, though. It is worth noting that Hendrickson is currently in the final year of his contract, which would complicate matters beyond this season, obviously. But that might not be a bad thing. Hendrickson could be viewed as a rental by the Cowboys and would not cost anywhere near as much as someone like Crosby, although the numbers behind a would-be Crosby deal are still enticing for Dallas and they would have him under team control for several more seasons. Ultimately, it feels fair to say that we are likely going to see the Cowboys do something before the deadline, as there is a lot of smoke here. What do you want the most and why?